This is the glowiest soft glam tutorial. I absolutely love this look. I wear it to class, I wear it to work, I wear it on my Instagram. It lasts all day, it's super glowy, and it can be dressed up or down with lashes. This look will have you looking like a baddie. Here's some other pictures of me wearing this. But yeah, I have a bigger following on TikTok, so be sure to check that out. And if you want more makeup inspo, my Instagram is ava.purple. Anyway, enough with the yapping, let's get started. First thing I always do is my eyebrows. I use a dual-ended eyebrow brush and then brush them up to make sure that they're not tangled or anything like that. I have curly eyebrows, so that's necessary. After I do my brow glue, I'll brush them over and then down. Okay, the NYX brow glue is my absolute favorite brow product ever. I've been using it since I was like 14. For reference, I'm 20. I have thick hair, okay? I have thick brows. Nothing can hold them up, and this does the job. It'll hold your eyebrows for like 24 hours. If you don't wash your face when you go to sleep, you'll wake up with your brows still stuck to your face. But it doesn't leave any residue on your face. It doesn't leave any crust, nothing like that, and it actually really works. Amazing finish, and then I smooth them over at the end, kind of like I'm laminating them. But yeah, this product goes for like $6, I think, and it's the best product ever. Don't go spending $40 on something else because I promise you it's not worth this. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a drugstore product work that well, but I will be using this till I'm in a nursing home, I swear. And then, like I said, over and down. Okay, next for primer, I'm using the Refy primer. This will give you a really good glowy base and it holds really well, but I don't even know if half of the reason I love this product is because of the roller. I could do this all day. It's actually so fun. I don't know. I saw it all over TikTok and I wanted to try it, but it's totally worth it. Another primer that works is the Milk Hydro Glow. I have used that up until I got this one, especially for long wear. That's a really good one to use. But yeah, another thing I really love about this product is that it gives you a really good smooth layer so that you can make sure that you're applying it evenly everywhere and it can dry. Okay, we're done priming. Amazing glowy finish. I love this product. For foundation in this look, we're going to be using the Beautiful Skin Foundation by Charlotte Tilbury. They eat every product they make, but this is really good for this look because it gives a really glowy, creamy finish, and it's not too high coverage to where it looks really cakey and matte. But another really important step is that we're putting it on our hand before we apply it to our face. We want to make sure that our foundation has a really even, light coat. If you want to add more, you can always do that. This will prevent cakiness and lumping down the line. Again, we want a really glowy, dewy look. We don't want any kind of splotchiness or cakiness. Application, I use a wet beauty blender. Feel free to use a brush for this, but I prefer a beauty blender personally for foundation. Yeah, as always, this foundation has a very dewy, light finish, and I love it for a look like this. The shade match and reflection on this is so unbeatable. I just love this. Next, we're going in with the Born This Way concealer by Too Faced. I also really love this product. She is very, very high coverage. I don't really need a high coverage concealer, but this lasts all day and it really elevates the look. The concealer, I would say, is the most important part of this look because the goal here is to lift your face upwards. First, we're applying it on the sides of my nose and then a little bit in the inner corner. And we're doing a straight line upwards on the outer corner. This will give us a really good cat eye and lift our face upwards. If you're still applying your concealer right under your eye, please stop. That will drag your face down and we don't want that. We want to look snatched, so definitely try this out. Afterwards, we're going to apply another straight line under our cheekbone. If you don't know, this is reverse contouring. You have very bright highlight in places that will make your face appear more lifted and upturned. Optional are your forehead and chin. Then I'm getting a flat eyebrow brush and applying concealer under my eyebrows as well. As for blending, you want to make sure you're doing little pats, making sure that your beauty blender is not too wet. And also, specifically for under your eyes, you want to make sure that you're looking up or outward and not closing your eyes. This is the earliest way we can prevent creasing of any kind. The goal here is to get a really smooth under eye and a really flawless base. Just wow, look at how this is turning out. Everything is very smooth, very glowy. I honestly am not a matte person, so I use this look a lot. I use this as my base for pretty much every other look that I do, unless I change the blush, of course. But when I say this look is my holy grail, like, I mean it. Another thing that's really important here is that you want your concealer to be a lot lighter than your skin color, if not a few shades brighter. This will brighten up the entire look, and it's going to come together when we do our contouring. It's so important for that snatched, bright, glowy look. Next, I'm taking an even brighter concealer. This is the NARS concealer. This is where my camera starts to really get annoying. I never really understood how influencers always have to put their hand behind products. I thought they were being dramatic, but no, like, this is so annoying. Anyway, we're putting it in the inner corner of our eyes, the outer corner, and on our brow bones. What's important here is that we're really not blending this far. I would do little pats in the areas that they're applied. Adds even more attention to the we applied it in, and it really brings the entire look together and brightens the look. So again, inner corner, outer corner, and brow bone. And again, I'm trying really hard not to blend this way too far. The point of this is really just to highlight the areas we applied it in. Once I learned this technique, I really never stopped. It's really good for natural makeup as well. Just running out of the house and you have time to do just one thing. This will make you look so much more refreshed. Okay, we're done with concealer. It looks so good, and I'm aware that it looks really bright right now, but we're going to fix that. And I just want to put an emphasis on how much this really adds to the glowiness of the entire look. And can I get an applause for how smooth this concealer is? Like, yes. Next, I'm getting a Huda Beauty powder. Mine is in the shade Kunafa. It looks a hot mess though, so like, this is really not necessary. I don't know why I did that, whatever. This is kind of where things go downhill, and I made my entire desk a mess because I used the lid to shake it, and then I got all over the lid, but that's fine. Like, you know, clearly I've done that before, so I don't know what I'm trying to prove with this, but anyway. I then grab a medium fluffy brush. It's very important to tap off the excess, but this is doing too much. Like, still all over my laptop and all of my stuff. Like, I don't know why I decided to do that. I thought it would look cool. It did, but like, was it worth it? I don't know. Application, we're doing small pat, starting at the base of our concealer and then working our way into the inner corner of our eye. This is very, very important. You do not want any cracking, any creasing, anything like that, and doing it in this order prevents that. Again, you can always layer more as you feel like you need to, but starting at the bottom and then working our way up. I apply the powder everywhere that I applied concealer and also on my upper lip because I sweat there more. If you have a T-zone that is oily, I would definitely try to put powder in those places as well. Another important thing is that we're excluding the cheeks, we're excluding everywhere that I didn't put concealer because those places are meant to be glowier for this look. I'm also putting extra setting powder on my eyelids because this will make it much easier to blend our eyeshadow when we get to that. Here's a prime example of why I need to tap off the excess because I accidentally put way too much on the right side there, and yeah. It's really not the end of the world because I just end up wiping it off, like it's fine, but definitely avoid that if you can. This next step is my secret to being able to set my makeup with loose powder, but then also have it stay glowy. What I do is I spray setting spray over the powder, specifically the Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. I absolutely love this setting spray because it uses a hairspray nozzle. So it evenly coats all of your makeup, it leaves a dewy finish, doesn't leave a bunch of drops on your makeup like the pump nozzles usually do, and it doesn't separate, and it lasts a long time. Talk about that forever, but I love that setting spray, especially for a dewy look like this. Next, I'm using Rare Beauty Blush in the shade Grateful. It's a very warm corally shade. I will warn you though, a little bit of this product goes a long way. I only put a drop on each side, but as for the application, you want to make sure you're putting it at the very top of your cheek. My camera will not leave me alone this day, so I don't know. But as for application, you want to put it at the very top of your cheekbone, right under where you have your concealer. This again will lift your face up as opposed to putting your blush in the middle of your face, which would drag your face down. So yeah, one drop at the top of your cheekbone. I'm using a flat brush and blending that out. I normally go back in with a beauty blender afterward, but I forgot to this day. It ended up still looking good, so it didn't matter. But if you notice a separation like that or a straight line, definitely go back in with your beauty blender. For contour, I use the Curve Case. I absolutely love this one as well. I wanted to get my hands on this for such a long time because it's a European product, so it's kind of hard to get, but they now have it on TikTok Shop, so it made it a lot easier for me to find. But they have a bunch of different shades in the palette. You can use them for contour, for blush, and they have a lot of other palettes for different skin tones, different undertones, super pigmented, super black girl friendly. Yeah, I'm going in with the lightest bronze color, and I'm taking that right under my blush. Then on the bridge of my nose for my nose contour. Next, I'm using the second darkest color and kind of taking it right underneath that last color and a little bit underneath my nose. Last, I'm using the darkest shade and then taking it underneath my nose. I want to create a button nose effect. We'll give a good shadow. Then, of course, lining it right on the top. Then connecting my eyebrows to the bridge of my nose. Lastly, I'm going on my forehead. Then I'm taking the darkest shade again underneath my jawline, basically from my ear to my chin. Use a flat contour brush to blend this out. Key here is to make sure that when you're using the brush on your cheekbones, you only blend upwards. So really scoop everything together and again, make you look as snatched as possible. Really, really want to avoid blending this over where we put our concealer. Next, I'm using just a little bit of concealer and using that same eyebrow brush and applying it like an exclamation point on my nose. Tip of my nose, I usually do it a little bit flatter, but that's gonna look different depending on the shape of your nose. Once I feel like I've had enough, I blend using my finger, to be honest. I feel like there's not really a brush that's like perfect for that. There is no shame in using your fingers to blend. I don't know who tried to create that idea, but this will create a really good contrast to the nose contour and a highlight to lift the nose. Next, I'm using my Black Radiance palette. This is really straightforward. I'm just using an eyebrow brush to set my nose contour in the corresponding places with the corresponding colors. Then I'm using a fluffy slanted brush and using the bronze color where I put the bronzier cream contour and the darker shade where I put the darker cream contour. Next, to set my blush, I'm using a Corally Juvia's Place palette, flat blush brush. Juvia's Place is another really good pigmented brand. And setting both your contour and your blush is optional, but it really keeps this look lasting as long as possible, and it brings out the colors in both. And with that, we are all done with our lovely, lovely base. She is just so smooth, so glowy, and yeah, it's about to come together. I'm so excited. Next, we're going in with the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. I'm working the shades Matte 7 and Matte 6 into my crease and in the outer corner of my eye. Two very warm brown reddish shades. They work really well as a base for the eyeshadow. The look we're going for is more of a dark brown, neutral, bold daytime, nighttime look. This glowy soft glam, I like it to be very universal so that I can wear it all day. And if something does come up at night, I can add a black to my outer corner or some shimmer depending on how I feel. I'm going in with a slightly darker brown. I'm working that mainly into the outer corner of my eye. For a neutral eyeshadow look, I like to build on the browns, starting from the lightest colors and ending at the darkest at the outer corner of my eye. Then I'm blending it out with the Matte 7 color, reddish brown color. Work this in on top of my crease, really just make it fade out and less harsh. Next, I'm taking the lightest color in the palette and tapping that in sort of like a cut crease without the concealer. Normally, I will add some kind of shimmer on top of this, but I didn't end up doing that this day. I wanted it to be more casual, more neutral. This is really what's going to give this look that kind of faded, hazy vibe to it. I really don't understand why people stop doing cut creases because they're literally everything. Then with the smaller brush, I'm packing in Matte 11 to the outer corner of my eyes. This is really where the depth of this eyeshadow look comes in. I make sure to blend it out from my outer corner and along my lash line. The only thing to note here is to make sure that actually fading it out and not just applying it to the outer corner of your eye. Lastly, for eyeshadow, I use that same color and apply a little bit to my bottom lash line. It just gives kind of a Siren, Kim K type of vibe. And yeah, here's the look close up. The eyeshadow itself is really matte, but it really gives this cat eye lifting effect. Next, I'm using the Stila dual-ended eyeliner. I love this because one side is longer and bigger, the other is really small and for detail. Today, since this Soft Glam is more casual, I'm using the smaller end, and I'm following the direction of my lash line, going upward, and then filling it in from the corner of my eye to where the eyeliner ended. Also really helpful to follow the eyeshadow. Yeah, I could do an in-depth eyeliner tutorial, but today it's really straightforward. Here you can really see how helpful it is to have a really small eyeliner tip. I'm able to get in the corner of my eye and tightly follow it to the end. This is also helpful for me because I tend to overdo my eyeliner accidentally, so it's really good to be able to do these small looks. I don't usually wear mascara. I usually just wear lashes or nothing. I'm using the Grande Lash mascara on both my top and bottom lashes. For mascara, I like to start by only applying it to the tips of the lashes and then wiggling up from the base. This will help your lashes to appear longer. Yeah, again, on the bottom lash. This is really just because it's compatible with the bottom lash eyeshadow that we did. And yeah, now eyes are all done. Then I'm coming in with a Rare Beauty highlighter along with the highlight brush by Rare Beauty. I'm lightly applying that on my cheekbone, really having an emphasis on the top of my cheekbones so that we don't drag our face down. It sounds redundant, but yeah. And then following where I put my concealer on my nose, I highlight the tip and then the bridge. Lastly, I highlight my brow bone. And then to bring all of the glow lines together and lock this in, I'm going back in with the Morphe Continuous Setting Spray, my all-time favorite. And to be honest, the only reason that I blur this out is because it looks so corny. I cannot keep rewatching it, so neither will you. For lip liner, I use the shade Coin Collector by One Size. Camera at this point is like not leaving me alone, and I don't know what, seriously. Anyway. Okay, there. Coin Collector by One Size. Lip plumper in the shade 44. This would not focus and I was actually pissing me off so bad I had to speed it up. I honestly like could have just said this. I don't even know why I keep recording it. Like, oh my gosh, but whatever. Anyway, another thing to add is that I have the Judy Doll transfer proof lip stain on underneath this. I love lip stains because once the lip gloss wears off, the lips will still be blushed. I can always add a clear gloss on top. This is the final product. It is so smooth, so glowy, and just so beautiful. I absolutely love this Soft Glam. I make a lot of short makeup tutorials on my TikTok, which I have a bigger following on, so definitely check that out. Like I said in the beginning, all of the makeup that I used is in the Linktree in my bio under makeup products. So if you want to find any of the products and where you can buy them, it'll be in the link in my bio. If you want to see any more makeup, skincare, fashion, or vlogs, please follow me. And as always, I love you. Bye.